The township of Soweto lies just south of Johannesburg. Formerly a home to miners, the region now has around 4 million residents. No one knows the exact number. Most live in corrugated sheet metal shacks. And that's just what young entrepreneur Landle Dlovu wants to change. He wants to have lots of brick houses built. 50,000 homes are needed in the Johannesburg metropolitan area.
We have a lot of people who are coming to Johannesburg, coming to look for work opportunities. So most of them actually prefer to live in the townships because it's cheaper to live there when you're renting, and it's actually convenient for you to live from wherever you're staying to go to work. So this creates an opportunity for homeowners to actually create accommodation for those people, where they're renting the backyard structures either in a formal manner or they're renting a shack.
Many South Africans could never afford to buy a home of their own, so they rent shacks in other people's backyards, all crammed together side by side. Landle Dlovu is a self-taught bricklayer. While building an outbuilding in the backyard of his parents' home, he got an idea to replace corrugated metal shacks with brick houses. His customers are the people who own the land. They pay for the building in monthly instalments using the rent they receive from the tenants, while the tenants themselves get to live in a better home. Plus, the whole thing is more environmentally friendly as the houses are made of special bricks.
So they're more like, almost like Lego bricks. So because the interlocking, you actually use 70% less cement. So this actually cuts your building cost by up to 30%. You can use unskilled and semi-skilled labor to actually build with these bricks. You only use a qualified bricklayer maybe to do the foundations and just the rest of the structure when you have to put in the roofing.
Landle Dlovu makes his bricks out of old construction waste, so he doesn't need to use sand. That also means the bricks don't have to be fired in a kiln, which saves on energy. Because the building blocks are interlocking, the pressure of their own weight is sufficient to make the walls strong and stable. It's an unusual way to build, but it's less of a burden on the environment than traditional masonry.
Since we're not using the traditional building method, most people were a bit skeptical when it comes to interlocking bricks, especially when you tell them that you don't really use cement to actually build the structures. So having to have a pilot, this has kind of like unlocked potential clients. We now have people, because they can see, touch and feel the structure, it's now more convincing them for them to be even interested in the technology.
This man was also interested and happy to learn more. Swanli Sibia is among the first tenants to move into one of the brick houses. The 35-year-old car mechanic has been living in a backyard for 6 years, until recently in a metal shack. But not anymore. Now he has a proper home. He used to pay about €35 a month. Now he pays 40. He thinks it's worth it.
Actually, I'm very, very, very happy, because if you are staying in the shack, it's not like you're staying in the room. Shack is like, it's not a place to be like as a human being, actually. To staying in a room, it's where you feel you're confident with everything. Like, shack is not the room.
Building rubble is a major environmental problem in the impoverished districts of Johannesburg. Many companies just dump their waste in the townships to avoid paying disposal fees. Nondusimo Sibia knows this all too well. Every day, dozens of trucks come to her neighbourhood to illegally dump building waste from more prosperous areas. This bothered her a lot, until it inspired her to become an entrepreneur. Now she's founded a startup that processes waste.
So, because a lot of people do waste removal, right? They collect waste and then they collect waste. But then we actually take responsibility of where the waste ends up. We rehabilitate roads with the waste, we compost it, we also send it or distribute it to organizations that make use of it.
Organisations like Landle Dlovu's house building company. The two startups plan to work together. Dlovu could use the plentiful building rubble for his environmentally friendly bricks.
Yeah.
Now the two are working on ways to crush the waste and transport it to the construction sites. They hope to get started soon.
So we are working out how we can actually collaborate and use the rubble as raw material for making bricks with the rubble, and then it can be actually more profitable on Bumba.Mobi's side and actually help hire more people, because then we will need people who are going to make bricks and people who are going to separate the waste and crush the waste as well.
More than 3 million publicly subsidised homes have been built in South Africa in the past 25 years. Even so, the government has failed to meet the need for new housing. Landlord Ndlovu says that many who came to Johannesburg hoping for a better life are now living in worse housing than before. They're exactly the people he wants to help, and not just by building new homes for them. He has many more ideas for the future.
With the informal settlements, the plan is to actually train the people that live here, upskill them to actually build their own structures. So we can replace all the shacks by giving them skills and also training them to build their own houses. These are two areas which we want to move into, another one being in the rural areas.
All that is the stuff of the future. Right now, each building is a major financial risk for Landlord Ndlovu and his startup. He's only been able to complete 3 homes with environmentally friendly bricks so far. 3 more are under construction. But he's been inundated with requests for more.